Was the early part of your career quite difficult?
Yeah, it was. Initially when I got in the Neath team, obviously I was probably about 10 and a half, 11 stone, which wasn't ideal really as a professional rugby player. Which meant physically I was always, always asked to compete against lads who were bigger than me. The game was far more physical than I'd been used to. And only a year before that, I was playing amateur rugby in a Division 4 West Welsh League. So it was a big jump. So when it came to things like in the gym or contact sessions, initially, it was harder than I'd ever expected. But I got to become a professional rugby player, so I was training every day. I'd work harder in the gym and put a bit of weight on, and became a powerful athlete, I suppose. So the longer I did it, the easier I found it, I suppose.
And you had quite a few injuries, didn't you, when you were putting on weight on too much early in your career? Did that affect you?
Yeah, early stages. Yeah, I was asked to take supplements, things like creatine, lots of protein. I was told to basically eat 3 times as much as I was eating before. And it was difficult. I could see straight away with help that I was putting a lot of muscle mass on. I was gaining weight, but I wasn't as quick. I didn't feel as sharp. I wasn't as agile. I probably wouldn't do as much speed training then. I'd be more in the gym doing bench press and God knows what squats. It was tearing hamstrings, pulling hamstrings, having aches and pains I'd never had before. And, it was hard. It took its toll. I had one season, I think it was in 2002, I believe, where, I played about 10% of the season, because of that. So it affected me massively. And, not only physically then, but mentally, you start to question, are you ever going to be fit again? Why am I getting these injuries? And it takes its toll. And it was difficult. But I decided then after that, right, okay, rather than try and please the coaches and put weight on, I'd work on the things that I wanted to and slowly, rather than overnight, become a stone heavier. Hopefully, gradually I'd become heavier, but I'd just be as quick, if not quicker, and my game would be better. And it took a while, it took a long time, but probably about 18 months. But then I got back to my best again, and I was relieved of that.
What changed during those 18 months? Because you had that game against Romania, didn't you, down at the race course where you scored a few tries, I think, and then obviously got picked for the 2003 World Cup. Well, what sort of changed, during those 18 months that made you into the player that you became?
Yeah, well, I had my first cap in 2000, and it was great and everything, but people were still saying that he's too small, he's not physical enough. And when Steve Hansen came on board, he felt exactly that, and he told me straight away, look, I'm not going to select you. You're about a stone lighter than you need to be, and you're not the kind of player I'm looking for. And that's when I really hit the gym hard and took the supplements, and because I thought, right, I want to get back in this team now. I want to get back in this team yesterday. And so, like I say, like I just explained, really, I probably did too much training, of the wrong training then. And I did, I bulked up massively. I felt good. I looked much better in the mirror, which was great, I know, but, it doesn't help you on a rugby field. So I just went away. But I did that for a good, probably a year, really, where I was doing the wrong training for me. And I just decided after a year, look, Shane, just instead of trying to please Steve Hansen all the time, start feeling good about yourself again. Start working on your speed, your agility. Yes, go to the gym, but don't try bench pressing what Adam Jones and the boys are doing. Do your own thing. Don't try squatting. The size of the pack on your back. Just do your own thing. Keep sharp. Keep quick. And that went for about 4 or 5 months, and I got to a point where I wasn't injured anymore. My hamstrings were good. My speed training was helping that, and I felt good about myself. And that, after that reflected on the field, and I started playing good rugby again. And 2003, I played in that game against Romania because Steve Hansen couldn't really leave me out of the team. I was playing that good rugby. And it was my final chance that game, I'd say. And, you know, it went okay. And then I went to the World Cup, and like you say, the rest is history. So it was just composed in myself and not putting too much pressure on myself, and knowing I was a good player and wanting to prove a point to myself rather than anyone else.
And on the physicality of the sport, it's quite mad how rugby has changed. It's year to year, really, isn't it, now, the physicality? And when I was talking to Martin Williams the other day, he said the biggest thing that surprised him is the size of the backs. Because when in his day, you know, it was easier to tackle the backs back then, but now you got the likes of Nadolo on the wing, you know, players of that ilk, Naivrolo from Northampton. Do you think the sport is still a sport for all sizes, or do you think the likes of Faf de Klerk and Cheslin Colby are keeping that tradition going?
Yeah, look, it is no surprise. It is exactly. It was just as physical, I'd say, when I played. You know, we still had big lads playing the game, and you know, I played against Nadolo in Japan, and you know, he is an absolute freak. He was playing 115 kilos in Japan on the wing. You know, he'd have 4 or 5 Japanese lads hanging off his legs. He was just an absolute freak. So you know, I played against these guys, but you'd have to agree with Martin certainly that the you know, the majority of the backs now you see playing international rugby are huge. You know, some of the best players in the world are huge, but they've got pace, they're athletic, they've got skill, some skills that I've never witnessed before in my life. And you look at the likes of Radradra, Tuisova, boys playing for the All Blacks, you know, Sevilla, and these guys are absolute freaks of nature. You know, people all go on about Lomu, you know, he was a freak of nature. These boys, I can assure you, are a lot bigger than Jonah Lomu was. So, yeah, you know, they are getting bigger, but they're just as entertaining to watch, which is great. It's great for rugby, but then yeah, you get a breath of fresh air sometimes, and you know, like you watch the World Cup. Cheslin Colby lit it up because you know the new tackle laws mean that you've got to go really low on a player like Colby, which is hard to do anyway to get near him. You get Matsushima for Japan. You get Fukuoka. You get boys like Hogg and Scotland, who aren't the biggest in the world, but you know they're just entertaining to watch. So yeah, I do think that some of the lads are getting bigger, but they are more athletic, just as skillful. But there are players out there, you know, like Faf de Klerk as well, who you know he's like a little Jack Russell, and he'll have a go at anyone. It's good to watch, and I'm definitely not bored by watching these big lads do this stuff. And I was at the World Cup. You know, I walked past Radradra just to see if I thought he was any bigger than anything I played against before, and he probably was. He was an absolute unit. But then I watched him play, and I thought, wow, this guy's got it all. You know, he's amazing. So in a way, yes, they are getting bigger. They're probably getting more physical. But I think that with the way that the tackle laws are being changed as well, it's helping the likes of the Cheslin Colbys and the Fukuokas. But also, you've still got the skill and the flair of the Fijians and the Samoans and these guys as well. So I'm enjoying the rugby at the moment. I think a lot of good rugby is being played. I thought the World Cup was immense, and I seen some of the best players and some of the best rugby played that I ever had in that competition. So, you know, I'm quite happy with the way that rugby's going at the moment.
Yeah, you've got a son that's playing rugby as well. What's it like as a parent on the sidelines watching? You know, do you ever, as you said, wince when you see? Because I don't know whether he's tackling at his age now, or you know, what are your thoughts as he gets older now?
Yeah, for me, you know, I know exactly what my boy Carter knows. 10 years of age, so he's been tackling for 2 years, but I've been teaching him to tackle for 3 years, so that when he was playing tag rugby, he knew which technique to use, where to put his head, how to fall after the tackle, to get out of the way, to roll out of the tackle area. So when he started tackling, he was fine, you know, and you know, he excelled in that area. But I know I've been in this position before where I'm the smallest kid on the field. You know, you get to 11, 12, 13 years of age, some kids are going to be twice your size. You know, my boy's going to be about 4 foot until he's about 16, bless him, unfortunately, right? But next year he's going to be playing against boys who've got beards and drive to the games in cars. Do you know what I mean? So I know how hard it's going to be for him, but he's got the same attitude as me. You know, he's just going to get stuck in. Now that frightens me because I've been there. I've got stuck in with bigger lads and I got hurt. So I know he's going to have bumps, bruises, cuts, stitches, you know, those kind of things over the years. So that does worry me. But I've only got to watch him on the field and in training. He's running around with a smile on his face. He's got his skull cap on. He's got his gum shield in because I've instilled it into him that he has to wear it. And, you know, and I'm there and playing the game with him. Every tackle he makes, I feel the tackle. Every time he makes a line break or scores a try, I'm doing it as well. I'm living my life through him again. And I love it. And, you know, that's why, again, another reason I did the program was to show, look, I've got kids playing sport. I got my boys playing rugby. I don't want to stop kids playing rugby. I don't want mums and dads to be scared of this program and go, oh, I'm pulling my boy out of rugby or my girl out of rugby. I want them to go, oh, look, we can make this safer for our kids. We just need to do this and that. They are changing the laws to make the game safer. There are concussion protocols. You know, if your boy or girl has a bang on the head, let's just pull them off the field and give them a rest. And, you know, we'll assess them through the week. And, you know, having done the program, I feel much more confident about my boy playing or my girl playing. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that program's worked for me. And I hope it's worked for the people that's watched it as well, because it's a sport I love. It's a sport, you know, if you took me back to 8 years of age now again, I would do exactly the same things I've done in my career. And I've loved every second of it. And I want my kids to as well.
And what are the odds on him being Wales' top try scorer? Gonna put a bet on like your dad?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get down the bookies, I think, before he gets any better than what he is now. Or the odds will go down. But yeah, he's pretty sharp. He's pretty sharp.